We wanted to start out a little differently than everybody and explain that we already did our presentation to a class of Mr. Hoyle's Earth Science because our senior project was, it involves pollution. So I just wanted to get that out there before I started. But anyways, Hunter and I really didn't know what to do when we first started. We were just shooting off ideas, and that ranged from like a documentary, like a TED Talk per se, or like just a presentation like a TED Talk, or a documentary. But after like a few debates, and we decided that what was best was definitely presentation to our youth, to give them a better idea of what pollution is and how it is dangerous. But go ahead and start the video.
This is a clip from the presentation that we showed to the class for our project.
Scientists believe the world's largest garbage dump isn't on land, it's in the Pacific Ocean. Estimated to be twice the size of Texas, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch stretches from the coast of California all the way to Japan. In some places, the man-made debris is 90 feet deep. Marine biologists estimate that 90% of the 3.5 million tons of floating trash is all plastic. In some parts of the ocean, there's already 6 times more plastic than plankton, which is the food many fish rely on to survive. How did all that plastic end up in the ocean? 80% is litter from land, either dropped directly into waterways or blown by wind into rivers and streams from states as far away as Iowa. The monumental amount of plastic trash has created an ecological disaster that has cost the lives of millions of seabirds and marine mammals. When this dead albatross was cut open, its stomach was full, not of fish, but of plastic, including a cigarette lighter. And this turtle, caught in a plastic ring when it was young, managed to survive until adulthood.
As you can see, once we started doing some research about this, like we were passionate about it. Everybody's a little passionate about something, but once you dig deeper into it, you realize, wow, this actually touches me. Like, I never thought that I would be doing my senior project on pollution until I dug a little bit deeper and found, wow, this is bigger a problem than I suspected. But go ahead and start with this.
This was actually our big question: why is pollution dangerous and what we can do to prevent it? And we also had to figure out what classroom that we would present to. There were several classes that had a connection to our topic, like the health class or the biology class, but we felt that Mr. Hoyle's Earth Science class would have been the best fit. When we contacted him about it, he was actually very happy to help us set up a time and date. And as long as we gave him a notification a week in advance, he'd be fine with it.
Yep. Next slide, please. Now, the motivation behind this was that, like I said, like when we didn't realize how bad of a problem this was when we first started doing our research. And we just wanted to raise awareness about this problem. Like, I didn't know that 46% of the lakes in America are considered unsafe for swimming or any aquatic life whatsoever. 46%. That's disgusting. And in India, there's this river that's literally 3,000 times higher of what's considered safe, and for like just bathing or swimming or anything like that too. And people still use that every day to just go take a bath. And so that really just made me mad, because this can all be prevented with just simple ways that you can just change the way you live or just do things. Like, let's say you see some cans on the ground, or you have like you always have like a piece of plastic or like wrapper, you just toss on the ground. Like that ends up in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch when you could have just walked to the trash can and thrown it out. Just little things like that. It just makes a big difference. But our goal was to enlighten the younger students so that they could just get a better habits earlier on. And and they're more social, so they talk about it and hopefully spread the word about what we're doing and what our goal is to accomplish. So it all started with the research. I mean, what our project was just a bunch of research. I mean, it doesn't sound, I mean, it sounds like we're just saying the same thing over and over, but just digging through all the facts and statistics and was just a lot more than what you think it would be. I think you all know that too, obviously. But ours was quite a bit of just finding and digging out what we needed to do to tell everybody, to tell the kids what's going on in the world today and what can be changed. Go ahead, Hunter.
In short, we ended up just making a 13-slide presentation. Went over to Mr. Hoyle's class right at the beginning of the hour, so we felt it would be better because they would be already engrossed in some topic that they were already doing. So it would be fresh in their mind for the rest of the day, hopefully.
Yeah, and just like more about our research, like we found out, I had no idea that the United States was the second most polluted country in the whole entire world. Like China's first, by the way, but I honestly didn't have a clue. Like I thought there was a bunch of other countries that were dirtier than us, but that one, I just didn't know it. So eventually, it just a lot of passion, and this is what we came up with.
Basically, like you see in front of us right now, we also had a script to help us guide us through the presentation in front of the students.
And we practiced a ton to make sure that was obviously fluid and we didn't mess up, any awkward starters. And it was a moderate sized class, and I told Hoyle to take more pictures, but I mean, he took one picture of me presenting, so I mean, it's okay, it doesn't bother me. He tried his best. But we thanked him, and basically we just our goal here is to
spread awareness.
Yeah, just make yourself less selfish, because this is our world, not. That's basically what I want everybody to get out of this, that it's not cool to be doing, like, the stuff that we're doing to this earth is not, it's not gonna last much longer, the way the statistics show. It's just, after doing all this research, like I've said a billion times, it really changed the way I viewed the world and everybody in it. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, go ahead. Part of their rubric asks for 3 or 4 questions from us, so to be scored on that too, so go ahead, Dan.
How long did it take you and Hunter to put together your presentation for Mr. Hoyle's class?
That took about, how long did you say, Hunter?
It's been a good 2 weeks.
Yeah, good solid
The majority
2
of that
weeks.
was trying to find relevant information.
It was just, like, we just don't, like, we didn't take pictures of us sitting down at a computer researching, but that's what we did, man. Like, that's what most of our work was. Yeah, go ahead.
Were there any statistics or predictions that stood out to you as particularly shocking?
Yeah, I mean, just like random facts, more per se. Like, did you know that, like, just right now, air pollution takes 9 months off your life? And by 2050, 6 million people will die per year because of that fact. That's just air pollution alone.
Jeez.
So,
Yep.
What were your reactions from Mr. Williams' class?
their reactions or mine?
No, theirs.
Oh, they were astounded. Like, I wish I could just present to you what we got. I would love to do that, but it was a different format that we had to do it for this class. But their reactions they were astounded. They could not believe what's happening. They didn't know. Neither did I. That's why I wanted to do this, and I learned so much. But yes, Mix.
Is there anything we can do to, like, reverse the effects? I mean, we can stop polluting as much as we, like, at a slower rate, but is there anything we can do to help?
Yes, there is. for example, just like instead of just throwing out your plastics, recycle them.
Mhm.
It's just simply time and effort. Like 9 out of 10 people will just throw that water bottle. I mean, I'm not saying you will or anybody will in this class. I'm just saying you might just toss it in the trash when it could just go in a recycling bin.
Right.
And that much will save billions of pounds of garbage going into the Great Pacific garbage patch
Yeah.
instead it could just be reused. Just stuff like that, little things. And honestly, it's not even us per se. It's more of the companies, the massive companies that do like radioactive waste. Oh, that's a big problem. Or like just the cell phone. Oh, explain the cell phone.
Oh yeah, there was one thing that we didn't show in this, but it was a scenario that was very interesting to us. There is this cell phone factory in northern Mongolia, and before that factory existed, it used to look, let's say it looks like how the Amazon rainforest did before they started cutting it. After they came in and started producing cell phone parts, the entire landscape around them was just lifeless and gray, like literally. There was nothing but gray sludge everywhere. It was probably one of the more shocking events that we could see that had to do with something that was like right in your pocket.
If the Great Pacific Garbage Patch is so large and it seems to be relatively concentrated, I mean, if you can find spots of it up to 90 feet deep,
Yeah.
it seems like it's concentrated. Are there any efforts by
Yes.
countries to get out there?
Yes.
Just, I mean, because it seems like you take a net and you at least pull as much of the crap out of the ocean as you
That's
can.
what they've been trying to do for quite some time now, but there's so much that just continually just gets poured in there that it's just like we take some out, more gets put in, we take some out, more gets put in. It's just a never-ending cycle. So
And it's not like it's all in one big pile.
yeah,
It's
there's
kinda like
it's
spread
out
here.
throughout the Pacific. So there's not one general area like, hey, let's just all congregate here and pick up all the trash. Like, no, it's spread out through that massive length of ocean.
How much of that patch itself is just littering versus, let's say, like when the tsunami came and hit Japan and washed over and then drug everything back in? So that wasn't like
Yeah.
littering in the ocean
And now there's
purposefully.
yes, I agree with you. There are certain scenarios that
Add to it.
that add to the fact like that we're polluting, but like some things we can't control, like that we can't control that the tsunami grabs and pulls in whatever excess garbage that we just can't control that. But there are things we can control and limit the amount of garbage and trash that goes in there. That's just we just can't do anything about that. It stinks, but it happens. Any other questions?
Great, thank you.